The Appalachian Trail is an incredibly popular 2,200-mile-long public hiking trail in the eastern United States that traverses scenic, wooded, pastoral, wild and culturally resonant lands. Since 1921, it claims to be the longest hiking trail in the world, and more than 3 million people hike the segments of the trail each year. The Appalachian Trail has always been deemed as generally safe, with most dangers related to weather conditions, human error, plants, animals and diseases. One other danger on the Appalachian Trail Conservancy list is hostile humans. Since its completion in 1937, there have been 13 known murders on the trail, with the first murder reported in 1974. Today we're going to talk about case number 8, the murder of Meredith Emerson in 2008. Before we get into today's story, World's End posts regularly to tell you some incredible and tragic tales of travelling around the world. If you want to see more, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out. So we start our story on New Year's Day 2008 with Meredith Emerson. She left her house with a beloved dog to go on a hike to Blood Mountain, located on the Appalachian Trail. Both Meredith and her trusty sidekick were seasoned hikers. Meredith was born in Charleston, South Carolina, but she was raised in Holly Springs in North Carolina. She was incredibly academic. She graduated the Newark High School, University of Georgia, as well as winning the Cecil Wilcox Award for Excellence in French. She set off on an incredible hike. The Blood Mountain Trail begins at the Byron Reese trailhead near Neal's Gap, eventually meeting at the Appalachian Trail at the Flat Rock Gap after an ascent of about 400 feet. The hike then reaches the Blood Mountain summit after a few miles, having to climb 1,400 feet from the Byron Reese trailhead. She regularly hiked alone, just her and a dog Ella, who she was actively training as a physical therapy dog. Unfortunately, when she didn't return home on the 2nd of January, her friends and family became worried and began searching for Ella on the Blood Mountain Trail with no success. Meredith's family stayed hopeful and prayed for the best. One hiker, Seth Blankenship, explained that he came across a portion of the trail that didn't look quite right. It looked like a fight had occurred. Disturbingly, the hiker noticed water bottles, a police baton and a leather dog lead lying on the ground, amongst other things. He knew something must have been wrong as he said that he saw a strange old man on the same trail holding that same baton. The hiker had also seen Meredith earlier and a dog Ella was on that same lead. Seth's story is backed up by another hiker called Bill Clausen, who said he noticed a strange old man on the trail who was stood there, menacingly, impatiently waiting for people to leave the area. This old man had also been seen with Meredith earlier that day. It turns out there were multiple sightings of Meredith and the old man, who also had a dog hiking the trail. They were growing increasingly worried, and the police held a news conference on the 3rd of January asking for any information. Multiple tips came in about one man, 61-year-old Gary Hilton, a local drifter known for his strange behaviour and vicious temper, who often walked his dog Dandy along the trail. The police put a nationwide search out for the man and plastered his name info everywhere, hoping someone would spot the man. A few key events happened on January the 4th. Her dog Ella was found in Cumming, Georgia, approximately 60 miles away from where they were last seen. As well as this, a witness at the Chevron gas station called the decalled police and stated that the guy you're looking for is cleaning out his van. The police quickly arrived on the scene and were able to stop the accused before he could bleach the interior of the van. The van actually belonged to Gary Hilton. Crime scene analysts obtained blood evidence that was later matched to Emerson's DNA. Gary Michael Hilton was subsequently arrested and charged with Emerson's murder. On January the 5th, authorities located numerous items belonging to Emerson inside a dumpster near a Quick Trip parking lot in Cumming. Her buddy clothing, her wallet, her driver's license, a University of Georgia ID card and a blood-stained car seat belt. Police were now certain that Meredith had been murdered, but they still didn't have a body. They did, however, have mountains of evidence against Hilton, enough to leverage him into cooperating. The prosecution agreed to take the death penalty off the table if Hilton would lead investigators to her body. Hilton agreed and successfully led investigators to Emerson's body. There, the investigators saw a scene that would change their lives forever. There they found a burial site containing the body of Meredith, who had been beaten to death before being decapitated. It turns out Meredith wasn't just murdered, she'd been kidnapped for 3 days before being brutally beaten and dismembered. For 3 days during the kidnap, Hilton was trying to steal money from a bank account, driving her around his van, trying multiple ATM machines. She kept on giving the incorrect PIN number to try and delay the psychopath and didn't give up without a fight. On the day of the murder, Hilton assured Meredith that she would be going home. He bound her to a tree before returning to his van to prepare himself for what he was about to do. He then returned and approached her from behind and repeatedly struck her with a police baton. Gary claimed that he couldn't bring himself to kill the dog Ella. The cause of death was identified as blunt force trauma. But the story didn't end there. He would also be charged for the murders of John and Irene Bryant, who were a couple in their 80s, and Cheryl Dunlap, who was a 46-year-old nurse and Sunday school teacher. For the former crime, he was given 4 life sentences, and for the murder of Dunlap, he was given the death penalty. So that is the incredibly sad story of the murder of Louise Meredith Hope Emerson. This is such an incredibly sad story about a young woman who was smart, thoughtful and adventurous, which unfortunately ended in tragedy. I was only going to do one video on the Appalachian Trail murders, but from the very first case I decided that the stories needed telling in their entirety. This is why I decided to make a series on this. Please feel free to subscribe. I'll put all of these videos in a playlist for you to watch in series and binge to your heart's content. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. It's completely free and it helps more than you think. Lastly, thank you for watching and I'll see you again next time.